Hello, everyone. I'm here with an awesome guest. We got Lucas Alvan from Ludlow, Massachusetts. He's last year's Massachusetts seventh place winner at 160 pounds and also 2023 Brazil's rep at the 17U Pan American Games. Lucas, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Hyped to talk, hyped to, just hear about your wrestling career and everything down in Mexico. We'll get to that, but first, so let's start from the beginning. When did you start wrestling? Okay, so we're back to a little technical difficulties. So when did you start wrestling?
I was born and raised in Ludlow, small town, not too much going on there. So, you know, in like first, second grade, I started wrestling here and there, but it wasn't anything really like serious. Like it was more just like for fun. And
Mhm.
then, I stopped after that for a little bit because, I wasn't really enjoying it. It wasn't like a big thing. And then, you know, later on when I was in seventh grade, like you know, it was one of those things where I was like, maybe I should get back into this. My older brother Caesar, he was pretty big into the sport, and so I
Oh,
saw,
see, I never put two and two together, honestly.
yeah,
Last names.
yeah,
That's hilarious. I never looked at that. Just going through
yeah.
it's funny.
So yeah, so he was doing well. He was doing pretty good going through the sport. So it made me really like rethink and like want to go back into it. So in the seventh grade, I got back into it. One of those things like slowly, like wasn't really like serious, but wanting to get back into the sport. So then, yeah, seventh grade was when I really like, started getting back into it. And then honestly, freshman year was really like my first year of like really focusing on the sport and like trying to
Really?
succeed. And yeah.
So when did you take that break? And when did you stop for the first time?
So I wrestled first and second grade. I did a little bit of youth. It was still a
What
small
club
program.
was that at?
It was literally called Ludlow Youth Wrestling.
Nice. Good old classic
Um,
games. Good old classic
yeah.
clubs.
But then, the coaches moved, so the program kind of shut down. It wasn't really like anything. So then I took a break.
Hmm.
And then once I got back into it was, like I said, seventh grade, but Ludlow
And
still doesn't have a youth program.
yeah, so where'd you go for that to get back into it since you were in middle
I went,
school?
yeah, so I went to Minichog. I went to Falcon
Oh, nice.
Wrestling.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I wrestled with them for a little bit, seventh and eighth grade, and then for high school, I came back to Ludlow.
So when you were in first and second grade, did you even compete at all, or was it just like a little workout thing to
Yeah,
get?
I did. I did. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
did some tournaments. Yeah, I did some tournaments. It
Do you
wasn't
remember your
like I
first
said,
youth
it wasn't
match at
anything
all?
big.
Do you remember
I
your
do.
you
It
do?
was
Oh man.
Yeah, it was something really interesting. It was one of those things where it's like, I was still learning the sport. It was very awkward, I can say. I didn't really know what I was
Yeah,
doing. So, just a bunch of adults screaming and coaches yelling and
gotcha. Did you get it right away at that young age? Was it something that, kind of grabbed you like that? Like you were interested in it or
so I do martial arts. I do BJJ.
uh,
Um and that kind of plays like a big role into wrestling because they both are very similar. So it helped me a lot. And it definitely like I definitely got onto it like quicker than most people would.
hmm.
But
Dude,
yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. I literally back in probably last summer actually, like end of summer, me and my friend signed up for some jujitsu. I wrestled, obviously he didn't,
yeah,
but it just came to me so much quicker than it did him, so we did that for a couple months. So it really is crazy, it's just hard, I still remember I was the coach was showing me one of the instructions, or no, we were going live actually, and my instincts was to build my base, and I did that, and he was like, "Oh no,
right,
don't do that," and boom. But it's
yeah,
great, how
yeah.
the two sports are so similar.
Hmm.
So why did you really, so the program quit? Was that one of or the program after second grade ended? Is that kind of just one of the main reasons why you stopped too when you were younger?
Yeah, it was definitely like, I mean, obviously with no program, like you can't wrestle. So obviously that was one of the big like factors that made me like not be able to wrestle. And it also at the time like wasn't really one of my biggest interests, you know. It was just like one of those
Were you
things that you
training
do like for fun.
jujitsu at that time too? At that young? When you were that young?
I was, yeah, I've been training jujitsu since I was 4 years old.
Wow, man. Hey, we might have to, have a match. No gi though.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, when you made the switch over to Minichog, or you said freshman year was when you really started caring and started to set goals for yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. Freshman year was when I really, put my focus on the sport, and I was like, all right, it's just gonna be like schoolwork and just wrestling. And I got went to start going to Metro West for off season,
It's a great club.
and just yeah. And then from there on, I just kept focusing, and just working on little things to improve my game and succeed in the sport.
What were some of your first goals that you set that freshman year?
Freshman year, at a school at Ludlow, the only freshman state champ was brother, and one of my goals was, to become a state champ freshman year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but that was one of my goals. And honestly, like I was just thinking to myself, I was like, this is gonna be one of those long games, like it's a marathon, So it's gonna be, towards my junior or senior year, that's when I'm really gonna really shine. So yeah.
Yeah, so during after your freshman year, or so let's talk about wrestling in the off season a bit. You're still with Metro, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, how often do you train there? Year round?
Yeah, I go every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, that's when they're open over there. So I go every single week, and I'm training hard, grinding down there. There's a lot of tough kids there. Everybody's scrapping, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So real quick, I always ask everyone when it comes to off-season wrestling. Obviously, you train freestyle, and we'll get into that. But do you have any interest in Greco at all?
It hasn't really like caught my attention yet, I'm still new to freestyle. So, I'm still working on that, but who knows, maybe someday, I'll try it out, see how I like it. But as of right now, it's not one of those things that I really want to put my attention to right now.
Gotcha. So going into your sophomore season, did you have any goals?
Yeah, I mean, I had, first year freshman, I saw what it was like, I saw what the competition was like getting, towards the end of the season, So I just really wanted to, because freshman year I didn't make it to New England. So this year my main goal was just, qualify for New England's and get that experience in, get all that adrenaline in, see how it feels, and,
Yeah,
just
you had
mostly all it is experience.
and at the All-State tournament too. I'm pretty sure you dropped your first match and then came back, won two in a row to battle for that qualifying spot. So do you think anything clicked after that loss in the All-State tournament where you're like, okay, this is it. I got to do this.
Yeah, so it started out all states. The brackets came out. Things were looking good for me. And then unfortunately at weigh-ins, we had 7 people that missed weight or didn't show up.
Wow.
So unfortunately they changed the bracket on us, and I got a tough kid first match, and so I dropped that first match, and I was like, this is gonna be a dogfight. It's really gonna whoever's gonna want it the most. So I dropped that first match, and I was like, I'm gonna work my ass off to, do what I gotta do. Work's gotta be done, so.
And then what was the feeling like, when you won that 7th place match? Like, all right, season's not over. It's not time to hang up the shoes yet.
Yeah, I was going into that match, I was like, man, it's been long 2 days. Like, this is my last match. It's got to leave everything out there, and that's what I did. I went out there, I did my thing, and it was really good feeling. Honestly, like I felt really proud of myself. It was good.
Hmm. And now I want to talk about New England's too, because dude, I'm pretty sure I watched one of your matches in person. I think it was you and Draven Roberts, right?
Hmm.
Yep. I remember I watched that match, and I think you won, and I was like, wow, this guy's good. He caught my eye definitely at the
Yeah,
time. But I'm just trying
yeah.
to track it real quick, so we can be a little more specific about question. But okay, I got it. Because I think if I'm correct, okay, yeah. So you beat Alvin. Yeah, yeah. You had a great showing. You made it all the way to the quarterfinals.
Yep.
Ran into Nicolosi, who's an animal, and then you were
Yeah.
one match away from placing. So what do you think carried you to being, the Massachusetts seventh place finisher? So if New England placed eight, you would have been top eight in New England.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of commitment, and once you get to that point, like later on in the season, like people get tired. It's like it's the final stretch. It's just one of the things where it's like you got to do what you got to do. You got to go out there and just you really got to want it. Honestly, it's when at that level, it's such a high level that it's really just like who's gonna want it more and who's gonna be willing to work hard. Late in that third period, like people are tired, mistakes
Mhm.
are starting to happen. It's just like you got to really capitalize on those little things and really just work hard. Honestly.
Mhm. So, do you thought about any specific goals for next season yet, or are you still
Yeah,
focused on this season
I,
grind?
I got some goals in line here. I'm definitely looking forward for that state title. I'm hungrier than ever to get that. I mean, it's my first state title I'm going to be going for. This year I came up a little short, placing second, losing in the finals. But next year I'm coming for what's mine. It's been a
And
long.
Ludlow is D2, right? Or is it D3?
We're D3, yeah.
Okay. So,
Hmm.
dude, all of Massachusetts is tough. Like
Yeah.
it's a great sport, or it's a great spot to wrestle in, and it
Hmm.
kind of shows the depth where you play seventh at the All-State tournament and still made it to the blood round in New England.
Right, right. Yeah, it's definitely a growing sport and definitely just getting tougher and tougher each year, and
Hmm.
I love it. So,
So when it comes to next year, what weight do you think we could see you at?
I think definitely 165 is definitely a good weight, and you'll most likely be seeing me wrestle there. Um, I think 160 this year was pretty good, and then they're shuffling around the weight classes, but I've been working out a lot, getting bigger, so I think 165 will be a good weight for me.
Hmm. So, and also before, any other events you're about to do this summer besides the big one you already did, like off-season tournaments?
I'm gonna be going. I think I'm gonna be going to Bay State games this weekend. It's a nice tournament to go to. And then we'll see. I'm planning see if I go to Thousand Islands in August, and then maybe the Journeyman Classic. We'll see if I can set out to go to those two big tournaments to go to.
Yeah,
So
big tournaments. Get some
definitely
great
want to.
competition in.
Yeah.
So let's take a little turn now. When did you start training freestyle?
So right before the Brazil nationals to go for the team trials was my brother was down here and I had never trained freestyle. My brother was getting into it, so he told me, he was like, the U17 team trials are coming up. Like, do you want to go give it a shot? Like we can wrestle this week, the week right before it, and just go out there and do your best. So I was like, opportunity came up, so I was like, sure. So it was literally the week before the team trials that I really was the first time I really worked on anything freestyle related. So
And when were the team trials, the Brazilian team trials?
So they were, I want to say they were back in March, I want to say.
Wow.
I want to say it was back in March. So it was right at the end of the wrestling season, right after New England's finished. It was right around there. So we went out there to Brazil and yeah.
And your brother, was he on the Brazilian team, the U20 team, or?
He's on right now he's on the senior team.
Yeah, okay, that's
He's
what I
on
thought.
the
I knew he was on something. I knew I saw that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense how he would be very filled in on, the qualification process and everything like that. Because I was wondering, like,
Yeah, yeah.
how did this kid from Massachusetts, like find out about the Brazilian, like Pan American team trials, like it's pretty crazy, but it makes sense, if your brother's a senior team member. So
Right, yeah.
when you were down there in Brazil, where was it? Or first off, was it in like a big city or?
It was in Rio.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice, nice. So yeah,
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, so it was nice. It was definitely nice.
And what was the qualification process like? Like, was it just because I know Puerto Rico, when I talked to Yandel about it, he had to go through like a four-person tournament and then face a national champ. So was this
Yeah,
something
so
similar?
it was similar, but I didn't have to face the like reigning national champ, So it was just like I want to say it was 16 kids in the bracket. So it was definitely it was a filled in bracket and yeah, it was I think it was like four matches I think it was that I had and my first match was really close, I ended 7-7, but I won off of criteria.
Wow, that's a difference
Yeah,
in
so
freestyle and
it was a
freestyle.
close match. Yeah. It was very close, and when the match ended, I thought I had lost because I wasn't really like into the freestyle, so I didn't know the rules that much. So I saw 7-7, I thought I lost, but then the ref raised my hand. I was kind of shocked, and afterwards, my brother explained it to me. But yeah, that was my closest match there, and then I won that one, and I went on to win my other two and make it to the finals. And in the finals, kid was tough. He was a strong kid, He started off beating me 6-0, and then that's when I really, changed the gears and I was like, all right, I gotta do something here. And, I ended up winning 11-6. So
Nice.
it was nice.
What's your go-to move in freestyle? You just like a take him down and leg lace kind of guy?
Yeah. So, I really love the blast double. So I'm really into that. So, I was watching Jordan Burroughs, doing his blast double going into that leg lace. So that's one of my main things there.
Nice. That would you say you definitely you try to at least model some of your freestyle game after him?
Yeah, I could say that.
Nice. He's definitely one of the best people you could base your skill set off of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So well, it's still pretty cool to me, that you were a 17U member and your brother is a senior member. I'm definitely gonna have your brother on here sometime. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
when you when you get to Mexico, what were you nervous? Were you jittery?
Yeah, so I had a lot of nerves going through me, a lot of adrenaline, I arrived in Mexico and I went to my dorm and it was just me in the dorm and a lot of things going through my mind like, like this is a tough tournament. I mean, it's the best guys in the Americas going here, so it's like there was a lot of nerves,
Mhm.
and but yeah, that's what I love, the adrenaline really fires me up. So
And who were you? Were you just training with the other Brazilian team members down there, or were there like special coaches and like the
yeah,
coaches?
so each the Brazilian coaches were down there obviously, and we had practices each day, so we would have a set time, and everybody from the Brazil team would go down there. We just have like a little practice, like an hour practice or so, just to obviously some people had to lose weight, and
Hmm.
you know, get some moves in and stuff. So
And what was your weight in pounds? 71. I'm trying to think.
you wanted 156.4.
156.4. Okay, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, from 160 to 156. It's not that bad, but got to cut a little more. So,
Yeah.
how did it feel wrestling or wrestling in a tournament? Of that stage. Like a continental championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely continental championship. I mean, it's a significant achievement for any wrestler. It's a pretty big thing, and it's honestly, it's a highly competitive tournament. I mean, athletes from different countries, I mean, going there like compete against each other like best of the best over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's involving like a lot of training, preparation, like just making sure like best physical condition and mental condition possible. I mean, you really got to be like mentally prepared and physically prepared. You know what I mean? So
So
yeah,
let's talk about your matches real quick. So walk me through, stepping out on the mat for your first match.
yeah. So we go through a little tunnel. It was like a little tunnel you'd run through, and you go towards the mat. And the second I went through that tunnel, I mean, it was a lot of adrenaline, a lot of nerves going through me, and just standing on that mat, bouncing up and down, waiting for the ref to call you onto the mat. It's definitely a very, very good experience, I could say, and very, very good to, learn how to control your nerves and stuff. But yeah.
Awesome. And so you won your first match, right?
Yep, I won 12-2, yeah.
Okay. And what was it like getting a win, at the Pan American Championships?
It was a really good feeling. I went out into that first match and I was really nervous, like it was hard for me to get my game going. I was really stiff. And obviously that first match, it's that first breath. So, I got very tired, it was getting my first wind out, and, with the nerves, you just obviously you get tired quicker. So it was definitely a grind that first match, but after I got away with the win, it was a really good feeling, and got me ready for the rest of the tournament.
Hmm. So, and just going into your third place match, did you have what type of or well, let's just talk about the match first. What exactly happened in your final match?
Yeah, so the match started off, we started off obviously in neutral, and we were just wrestling, just moving around, hand fighting, and the kid shot in a low single on me, like, and he picked, I kind of drooped over him, and he stood up, and I was just, wrapped around his body. And then when I went to go let go to like drop down to his ankles or something like that, he just let go of me. I don't know if like I slipped out of him or if he let go of me, and I just fell directly on my head, and my whole body went numb, so I couldn't continue. I just couldn't feel my body. So people came out with the stretcher, and unfortunately, we just couldn't continue the match.
Yeah, that definitely sucks. So it's not. It was just that it's not like you had anything prior to going out on the mat, right? It was just that little bop. You know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I didn't have any previous injuries. It was just, an unfortunate situation, but it is what it is.
And so are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm taking some medicine for some pain, but it is what it is. It's not nothing crazy. I'm glad that I'm all right. It could have been something a lot worse, a lot more serious. So.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. And I'm sure everyone is. It definitely sucks. You couldn't really finish for that third place medal, but it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
This unfortunate situation, like you said. So
Right.
but even though you came up short, how does it feel to be a top 6 wrestler in the Americas?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I mean, like I said, it's a top tier tournament, and not everybody can make it this far, and like I said, unfortunately, I got injured, but like as an athlete, and just gotta learn with certain situations, and you know, injuries is one of them. But overall, it feels really good, knowing that I'm a top six wrestler in the Americas, and it's a huge achievement. And I can say I'm very proud of that, honestly, and definitely looking forward to the next. You know, so yeah.
And but what was your favorite experience? Your favorite part of being down there in Mexico?
Honestly, there was a lot of good things in there. Going down there, getting a lot of experience, it's definitely what it's all about. I mean, traveling, being in a different country, dealing with the nut. But I could honestly say that it was the adrenaline was honestly my favorite part, like
Yeah.
wrestling in different country, wrestling against people from different countries. Like it's the adrenaline. I love the adrenaline, honestly. It just, fires me up and really gets me going. So, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. It's good. It's nice to know that you got that motor, almost where, getting nervous just gets you excited, kind of, like
Right,
you
right,
love to get nervous because you live for that big moment.
right. Being on the big stage, that's what it's all about, That's where I'd love to shine. So, yeah.
You got any funny stories though from Mexico from while you're down there? Anything funny happened between you and the Brazilian team or anything else?
Honestly, there was a couple funny things, but I'd say honestly just, these kids, these Brazilian kids there's some funny kids, man. Trying to get with girls from other countries. I mean,
Oh, I bet.
you know,
I bet there was probably a lot of that down there.
oh yeah, I mean,
17U tournament.
it was a lot of, oh yeah, so much of that. So, those kids, they're pretty funny. I mean, doing some funny stuff. So but definitely, them seeing them get with other girls is pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm sure you definitely made some friends down there, from other countries too. Like
Yeah.
whether it's on the Brazilian team or kids who wrestled for other countries.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanna talk about? You wanna touch on?
Um, no, not really, honestly. I think we covered everything. Got everything down pretty well.
Awesome, man. Well, you guys heard it here first. He's going 165 next season. You could catch that in the new rankings update coming Friday. Just had to do a little
Yes,
promo there.
sir. I'm coming out. I'm coming for my spot. I'm hungry, so
Yes,
don't
sir.
sleep on me
Yeah.
just yet.
All right, Lucas. Have a good one, man.
Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good one.